Thank you. I just want to go through a couple of housekeeping items, please. This press conference is being streamed live on YouTube, so please do not stand in front of Ashley here in the center, who is producing the live stream. And please, everyone, do not talk near Ashley or other reporters with recording equipment. You can step to the side for your conversations. Thank you. We're starting with our press conference speakers. The concluding speaker is Ashley Overhouse from Defenders of Wildlife. And then the others, anybody else who wants to speak after that will be able to come up. And of course, the press is welcome to stay for that portion also. Our order today is first Vice Chair Melissa Tayaba from the Shingle Springs Band of Miwok Indians, who will do the welcome and provide opening comments. I will give a brief general statement about why we're here today. And then Gary Mulcahy, the government liaison from the Winnemem Wintu tribe, he will follow. After that, we will introduce elected officials. We understand, though, that many cannot attend because there are floor votes that are starting to be called. So we're going to play that part by ear. Our concluding speakers will be in the following order: Cynthia Cortez, Policy Manager for Restore the Delta; Keiko Mertz, who is the Policy Director for Friends of the River; and Ashley Overhouse with Defenders of Wildlife. I'd also like to make note today that we have members from our farm community here who are the grown children of farm leaders who beat back the peripheral canal in 1981. I think that says a lot. Californians voted down the idea of conveyance through the Delta over 40 years ago. But the state does not believe that it has to listen to the will of the people. Something happened this summer. You're seeing people today who are not at the hearing because we have hearings running at the State Water Board. You are seeing people today who are not in the building at the Capitol or in the swing space because there's still work going on with legislators. You're seeing people who decided to pull this effort together to make sure that there was a public voice heard that over 40 years of pushing a project that Californians have rejected, and 62% of Californians, as we polled this year across the state, want money spent on local water solutions, not Delta Conveyance. That poll is done by Goodwin Strategies, found on our website. They've kind of ignited something because everybody is working on it throughout the state right now together, and things are going to change. So with that said, please, if Vice Chair Tayaba could come up.
Good morning, everyone. All right. My name is Melissa Tayaba. I am the Vice Chair for the Shingle Springs Band of Miwok Indians, also Director of Traditional Ecological Knowledge. My tribe was displaced from our ancestral villages along the Sacramento River and Delta waterways, but we have not and will not abandon our role as guardians of the water. For the past 2 years, we have sponsored legislation to give tribal water uses the same legal protections as other water uses in the state. Each year, our bill was held due to unreasonable fiscal estimates. However, a few days ago, we learned that proponents of the Delta Conveyance Project were trying to co-opt our bill language to gain support for the trailer bills the governor has been pushing since May. So I want to make a few things straight. We are strongly opposing the trailer bills and categorically reject any attempt to use our bill language in any deal. Anyone claiming that we would support either trailer bill if our bill advances is lying. Passage of either trailer bill would undermine our ability to maintain our cultural traditions and sovereignty. The CEQA trailer bill would eliminate the opportunity for analysis and review of tribal cultural impacts in water quality control plans. It is an erasure of the commitments the governor and the legislature have made to repair relationships with California tribes. CEQA is a critical element to inform policy choices regarding Bay Delta management. Without CEQA analysis, much of the Delta Reform Act becomes meaningless. We urge the legislature to stand with us against these proposals to fast-track a destructive Delta tunnel and deregulate the Bay Delta plan. Our people and our region are not a sacrifice zone. We will continue to speak out to protect and maintain our culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Tayaba. And I just wanted to remind members of the press that speakers will be available for interviews when we conclude today. Today, we're here to stand in opposition to the CEQA trailer bills that would advance the Delta Conveyance Project and changes in the Bay Delta water plan and basin planning processes here in California. But more importantly, we want to remind the legislature that our opposition to these bills, which would strip due process and participation rights from millions of Californians in regard to water planning, this is not based on a singular event. Our deep hurt and disappointment in Governor Newsom, the State Water Board, the state water contractors, and particularly a DWR Director, Carla Nemeth's leadership over the past few years is historical. We're not just protesting bad legislation. We're protesting a water management system that was based on the theft of land and water from our tribal neighbors through theft and genocide. It became adjacent to waterways, and now it has grown into a water system that only services monocrops for hedge fund farmers and speculative desert development. The tunnel and the full Healthy Rivers Plan, which is also costing Californians billions, will significantly reduce freshwater flows through the Delta and the San Francisco Bay Delta estuary, destroying fishing, tourism, farming, and recreation economies for both the Delta and the Bay Area. Today, our fishermen are conducting their own act of protest in the system. They have 4 days to fish for salmon this year, and they are out on the waters doing exactly that and recording it. With climate change and reduced water availability, both of the plans, the Healthy Rivers Plan with its fake name and the Delta Conveyance Project, are inextricably linked. They're nothing more than a Ponzi scheme for driving up the price of water on the water trade market. They won't make water affordable in LA, they won't make more water for farmers, and they won't fix our existing water infrastructure, which needs major repair. According to a report in the San Francisco Chronicle this week, about 10% of the farmers in several San Joaquin Valley counties own between 80 and 93% of the farmland. These top owners are mega corporations, hedge funds, religious institutions, and even Chevron Oil. These industry leaders drive the policy and leadership of supposed public water agencies, all at the expense of the most marvelous estuary on the west coast of the Americas and our stunning river watersheds. The people speaking today and the many more who have been helping us push back on these immoral and frankly anti-American trailer bills, one of which would give Director Nemeth unlimited authority to direct the selling of bonds backed by California taxpayers. They are determined to break California from being set on the right course for sustainable and equitable water management. Our collective anger is righteous, it is historical, and because of what has been done through this summer, through the repeated bullying, manipulation, and outright lies put forward by those leading the water system, well, let's just say they've kind of reignited us. It's not the time to stop a fiery speech with paper. They've reignited us, and we are at the beginning of a water revolution. We demand water equity. We demand the numerous viable solutions for the Delta and California water management that we have put forward become the water plan for California's future. And we're going to make sure that these demands are met. The moment has arrived to change California's water management, and we fully intend to make it happen. And with that, I'd like to hand this over to Gary Mulcahy, Government Liaison with the Minimum Wind 2.
Good morning, everybody. Glad you're here. And I'm really not sure what to say. There's so many things to talk about. You know, there's a Delta Tunnel, there's a Sites Authority project, there's voluntary agreements, which they've listed as the something value, I forget what she just said. Nice landscapes and all that good stuff, which is all terrible stuff. Who cares, you know? And we're really tired of being here. I mean, I've talked about this now since 1982. The peripheral canal, like Barbara said, was first proposed by Governor Jerry Brown in 1980, went before the voters in 1982, soundly voted down by 65% of the population. 2009, it raises its head again with Jerry Brown, and it's conveniently named the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. And it had two parts to it, which was a tunnel and an eco-restore part. U.S. Fish and Wildlife said that the eco-restore part, they wouldn't issue permits for it because the eco-restore part didn't show how it would benefit salmon, sturgeon, or any of the other endangered species. So that went by the wayside. It got revised again in 2015 to the California Water Fix. Many of the people that are behind us here were setting testimony just down the road here in front of the State Water Resource Control Board against that. That went on for 2 years worth of testimony, and just before they got to a decision or a conclusion on that, DWR said, oh, well, we can't do that because it was a twin tunnels, you know. So we're going to revise it and change everything. So they had to back out, withdraw their application for the permit, and redesign. Now that we have is the Delta Conveyance Project, which is being championed by Donald Newsom. It's the best I can say it. And the reason why I say that is because what's going on in DC is the same thing that's going on in California with the leadership. They're doing whatever they can do. These people in charge are doing whatever they think they can do to circumvent the process, circumvent the people's will, to get their will done no matter what. No matter what. And that's what's happening here with Newsom and the Delta Conveyance Project. Trying to put trailer bills that will fast track it, trying to put a trailer bill in that will dilute CEQA. And let me tell you what diluting CEQA will do to you. CEQA is California Environmental Quality Act. It protects you against projects that may harm you. It gives you the opportunity to voice your concerns about problems and impacts that it will have on your community, your use, your beneficial uses, your livelihood, your happiness. But they want to dilute that. And what that will also do for tribes is that AB 52, which is a law that requires, under CEQA, requires government-to-government consultation of tribes to dilute CEQA. They dilute the voice of tribes also. So we are opposed to it. You should be opposed to it. There's so many things that are bad going on right now. Don't listen to the state water contractors because they're the ones trying to put through the home landscapes. Keep forgetting what the first part of that. Healthy rivers and landscapes. There you go. I remember what it is now. It's the voluntary agreements. What's voluntary about them? Nothing, because the only people that are involved in the negotiations for the voluntary agreements are the water agencies and water contractors and state agencies. They're not having any tribes in there. There's no environmental groups in there. There's no disadvantaged communities in those negotiations. There's nothing that the public, the general public, has an opportunity to say. It's all being controlled without us and without you. So that's why we're here today, for a whole bunch of reasons. It's not just the Delta Conveyance Project, but because California water policy and what's going on now sucks.
Thank you, Gary. Up next speaking will be Cynthia Cortez, Policy Manager with Restore the Delta.
Difficult to follow that up. Thank you, Gary and Barbara. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Cortez. I'm the Policy Program Manager with Restore the Delta. The Delta Conveyance Project and prior iterations of this project in the Delta have been one of the most contentious projects in California for more than 50 years. Despite widespread opposition, the tunnel remains a top priority for this administration, and it has shown it is willing to go to great lengths for a political win on the tunnel. The administration has weaponized the budget process to attempt to fast-track the Delta Tunnel and circumvent CEQA review for the water quality control plans. While we are grateful to Senate and Assembly leadership for not moving forward with the original May trailer bill proposals, we know the administration is committed to utilizing the budget process to move the project forward. These trailer bill budget proposals come amid ongoing administrative proceedings and litigation challenging the validity of the project, and despite the unresolved civil rights complaint filed against the State Water Resources Control Board for their failure to update the Bay Delta Plan and continued consideration of the exclusionary voluntary agreements. California's water system is deeply rooted in discriminatory practices that persist today. These exclusionary practices are embodied in the severely flawed voluntary agreements proposal that would supply the water for the tunnel. As a critical cornerstone of environmental law, CEQA not only evaluates potential impacts from proposed projects, but also requires tribal consultation and community engagement. Seeking a CEQA exemption for the Bay Delta Plan in spite of ongoing processes confirms the disregard for impacted communities and lack of commitment for equity and preserving the natural environment. This administration's persistent push for this project continues to impede progress towards a thriving Delta. Delta communities deserve a healthy environment and thriving local economy. Home to 400 million Delta County residents, the Delta supports an annual economy well over $7 billion, including a $5 billion in agriculture, $1.5 billion in commercial fishing, $780 million in recreation. Revitalization of the ecosystem and protecting Delta communities, tribes, and agriculture is the first step in revitalizing the Delta economy and reconnecting communities to their waterways. a mere one-time community benefits package of $200 million that the Department of Water Resources is offering does not replace an annual economy of $7 billion. As part of the new generation of Delta leaders, we envision the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta as a place where a vibrant local economy, tourism, recreation, farming, wildlife, and fisheries can thrive. With that, we urge the legislature to hold strong and reject proposals that would fast-track the Delta Tunnel and bypass CEQA. Thank you. And now I pass it over to Keiko Mertz with Friends of the River.
Thank you, Cynthia. Good morning. I'm Keiko Mertz, Policy Director of Friends of the River. The Delta Tunnel is brilliantly designed to suck water out of the north and money out of the south. These are not my words. These are from a 1984 State Senate analysis of a similar scheme. Not much has changed since then. For half a century, politicians have tried to repackage the Delta Tunnel as a solution to our water challenges. From the peripheral canal, which you've heard about this morning, to WaterFix, and now this tunnel, every version has been defeated. Not by accident, but because Californians know a bad deal when they see one. Now, instead of listening, the governor is trying to take away our tools to say no by gutting CEQA and cutting the public out of the process. Californians deserve better than political shortcuts and backroom deals. These trailer bills are an attempt to silence the public, sideline science, and push through bad ideas that the people of California have rejected time and time again. The Water Quality Control Plan exemption would undermine the protections that keep rivers flowing into the Bay Delta estuary. It is designed to weaken protections because that's the only way to move bad water policy forward. This is so much bigger than the Delta. The estuary is fed by the Sacramento and San Joaquin rivers, the two biggest rivers in our state, and the copious rivers that feed those rivers. If we allow this attack on our democracy and on the Bay Delta plan, we are opening the door to weaken protections for rivers and the communities that rely on them across the state. Friends of the River is working for a different future. We ask the governor to choose a different path, one where we invest in local water solutions, and where communities have clean, affordable water, and where our water is fishable, swimmable, and drinkable. We call on the legislature to reject the trailer bills. Stand with Californians, not special interests. Stand with our rivers, and stand with the Delta. And now I turn it over to Ashley Overhouse.
Good morning. Many thanks again to this incredible community before and behind me for showing up this morning. Ashley Overhouse, I'm the Water Policy Advisor for Defenders of Wildlife. I, like Gary Mulcahy, feel tired. We have been talking about this multiple times this summer, multiple times over the years. But again, I feel like I must reiterate Defenders of Wildlife's strong opposition to the two Delta budget trailer bills, and overall the Newsom administration's continued attempt to politically interfere with the most important water planning process for our state, the update of the Bay Delta Plan. It is hard to fathom how California leadership can justify exempting water quality plans from environmental quality review. What is clear is that these trailer bills are just the latest attempt to ignore the best available science in order to prioritize our state's precious freshwater resources for corporate greed. If these bills pass, it'll all but guarantee that fish and wildlife in the Bay Delta estuary continue to decline, and with them, the water quality we need to preserve for millions of Californians. Furthermore, these trailer bills will undermine the state's legislature's authority. Since 2023, the state legislature has asked the Newsom administration to move the Delta Conveyance Project through the normal legislative process, one that guarantees policy and fiscal analysis, as well as robust public engagement. These trailer bills are not only directly contradicting the legislature's request, but also subverting the public's right to a democratic process. As of today, the new language for these proposals is still not introduced for the public to review. California is supposed to be the bastion of democracy right now, the leader for our nation. And these proposals are not only a distraction from this critical moment in our country, but an insult to the values we are supposed to uphold as a state. This is a historic moment, and we must remain focused on keeping California resilient in the face of the political storms ahead. These trailer bills make California vulnerable and are not needed for anything other than political ambition and ego. We commit to working with the legislature, the Newsom administration, and all interested parties towards local, climate-resilient water future. It's not too late. So again, defenders of wildlife and my colleagues here, ask the legislature to stay strong, continue to oppose these trailer bills that directly attack the Bay Delta estuary and California's values. Thank you for your time this morning.
All these tall people, I don't know where they come from. One concluding remark for us, and then I think Bob Wright from Sierra Club California wanted to add a few words. Some other people may want to speak. We have hearings going on right now at the State Water Resources Control Board, and Ashley Overhouse from Defenders just really made it crystal clear what is at stake and how we are supposed to be the bastion of democracy right now. One of the elements that has not been discussed and continues to be forgotten is that the Department of Finance analysis shows that by the time the Delta Tunnel becomes operational, the greater Los Angeles population is estimated to have declined by about 600,000, and the fastest growing area in California is the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta region. The economics is backwards, the values on this is backwards, the hope for protecting the environment and actually having a sustainable water supply with climate change, it is all backwards. So we're here today to say no to the trailer bills. Let's put an end to this and let's get busy building a sustainable water plan for all of California. I would like to thank Cynthia Cortez and Morgan Snyder, Ashley on our team, and everyone from Restore the Delta, and our colleagues who have been working around the clock all summer, either in the Capitol, on social media, on doing the policy work. It has been nonstop. It is 6 and 7 days a week. They are here to serve California. They are the hope in all of this, as are our colleagues and speakers here, because their organizations are doing the exact same thing. It's the next generation that's going to get this right. And we hope you stand with us for them so that they actually have a protected, healthy, and economically viable future in California. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Bob Wright. I'm a member of the board of Restore the Delta. I'm also the counsel for Sierra Club California. But what I'm going to say today is going to be rather strong. I happen to be a resident of the Delta, and I'm only going to say this in my capacity as I live in the Delta. In my opinion, the Department of Water Resources has been lying for years on how much the Delta Conveyance Project would cost. They have been saying it would cost $20 billion. Now, everyone knows that when you borrow money to do something like buy a house, you don't just pay the cost of building the house, you pay the interest. The Delta Conveyance Project would be funded by bonds that would be sold. The bond purchasers would have to be repaid, not just the original cost, but with interest. I think you all know that recently there was an Eco Northwest expert report produced that said that no, the Delta Conveyance Project is not going to cost the people who are going to pay for it, the ratepayers who live in the areas, and those are homeowners and renters who live where the water would go. They're going to be paying back, the bondholders are going to be paying interest. That's going to amount to 3 to 5 times what the Department of Water Resources says it would cost. That means $60 to $100 billion. In my opinion, that's a flat out lie, and it's absolutely, you can't make this stuff up, that the legislature may consider these trailer bills to expedite the Delta Conveyance Project when we've got the project proponent that wants it lying that it's going to cost $20 billion when it's really going to cost the people that have to repay the bonds, the homeowners and renters, $60 to $100 billion. Now, that needs to be communicated to the legislature. Do not speed this thing up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jason Foster, a citizen of California. Something very dangerous is represented here. We're talking about development solely for the benefit of developers. The opportunity cost of that bankrupts the public. It bankrupts our opportunity to develop for the public good. They will suck our tax dollars solely for the benefit of developers and not for the benefit of life. Water is life. The public good is served by clean water. Do not allow unlimited bonding authority for the benefit of developers solely. Do not allow exemption from the Environmental Quality Act at the expense of the public good. Allow local resources to identify the biggest risks to their health and well-being and retain the potential for investment in mitigating those risks and enabling and maximizing the quality of life for those people. Stop Newsom from turning into Trump in order to defeat Trump and protect the public good. Thanks.
Yeah, Jason.
Stop the tunnel!
Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel! Stop the tunnel!
Buddy. I think that concludes our program for today. We thank our supporters and members of the public who have come out to support us. Keep the phone calls going into the building. Call your assembly member, call your state senator, tell them no to the CEQA trailer bills for the Delta and no trailer bill accepting CEQA for water basin planning, period. Thank you. Have a great day.
The only trailer bills we want is Winnebagos for every host.